Hi guys, it's Darth Deuces here, back on the Star Wars The Vintage Collection action figure review. Today, taking a look at the Deluxe Sabine Wren from the Ahsoka Disney Plus series. This figure came out in 2023, last year. I can't remember when, but it was a figure I was interested in, but I was definitely going to wait on. I was not going to pay full price for this. Uh, the moment it was announced and shown off for the first time, I knew right away there's no way this figure is going to be worth the deluxe price point to me. So eventually, luckily, Amazon had this on sale for like 50% off. I got this for the price of a standard TVC figure. And I'm glad I did because for that price point, it's a pretty good figure. But I mean, spoiler alert, tell you right now, definitely not worth full price. In Canada, deluxe TVC figures generally go for $42.99. That's before tax. After tax, you're looking at like $45 to $47 uh, for a 3 1/4 stars figure. So, definitely not worth that. But, anyways, take a quick look at the packaging. It's in the standard TVC deluxe box packaging. Some nice toy photography there with the figure. Another image of the figure, Sabine Wren, Ahsoka. Another image over there. Another image there. The same image again, and then showcasing everything that comes with the figure. So yeah, these packagings are okay. I do like the toy photography on them, but I do kind of wish you could actually see the figure inside. But it is what it is, not too bad. But that's it for the packaging. So let's take a look at the figure. And I have the figure here with none of its accessories on or anything like that. Take a look at the sculpt and paint first. And I think the figure looks pretty good for the most part. The head sculpt, I think, looks really nice. I'm not sure if it's 100% on with the likeness to the actress, but it's pretty good. The face print is sharp and well applied. The hair looks good. There is actually a bit of a black wash applied to the hair to bring out some of that sculpted detail, which is pretty nice. The Black Series did the same thing too, actually, surprisingly. Yeah, it looks good. The armor looks really good. There is a fair amount of paint going on because of Sabine's colors and designs. You got quite a bit of different colors and different paint going on, so I will give it some credit there. It probably has a bit more paint than the average deluxe figure or TVC figure. Probably you got these yellow markings on the van braces that look pretty nice. The gloves are painted there. Yeah. Belt looks okay. You got silver for the main belt buckles, but none of these little buttons on it are painted, which looks kind of bad. And I don't know. I wish these belts would have black washes to make them look a little more realistic. This one's not too bad, but something to note. The upper legs, I don't think they're reuse. I think they're new sculpt, but for some reason they sculpted the plate armor that most of the female Mandalorians have on their side there, like Bo-Katan. But then they didn't paint it because Sabine doesn't have these plate armor. Or at least the Black Series doesn't. And I don't recall the costume having it in the show. I don't think she's supposed to have these armor plates. So they didn't paint them, so they look weird. And I don't think these are reused. So I don't know why they sculpted a new leg piece and then still made it inaccurate. I compared it with my Bo-Katan, and they look really similar, but the Bo-Katan has the knee guard attached to the top leg part, and then this figure does not. So I gotta feel like it's a new sculpt. I just don't know why they decided to still sculpt it incorrectly. It's a little weird. It's not that big a deal because they didn't paint it. It's not super noticeable, but something to keep in mind. Then the knee guards and the shin armor and the boots all look pretty good. No complaints there. And yeah, overall, for the most part, some small weird things, but for the most part, it is a nice looking Sabine figure from the show. And proportionally looks pretty good as well. In terms of articulation, you got the dumbbell joint in the neck that most TVC figures have now, with looks down a fair amount, looks up an okay amount, pivots very well and rotates. Hinges at the shoulders that move pretty good. These shoulder pads are attached to the collar and they are flexible plastic, so they will get out of the way. Single hinges at the elbows that do move a bit past 90. And then one thing I did notice that's kind of strange is that she looks like she only has swivels at the wrists, which is kind of interesting because I'm pretty sure that Bo-Katan had hinges. Let me just check real quick to do with the Bo-Katan figure here on hand. Yeah, the Bo-Katan figure had wrist hinges, and like their forearms are like fairly similarly sized. I don't know why they opted to just give Sabine wrist swivels. It's a little weird. And because she is a lightsaber wielding character, it is a bit of a hindrance on some of the posing she can do. It's not a huge deal, but it's something worth noting. I don't know why they gave her that downgrade. She does have a joint at the waist that goes back, arches back a fair amount. Doesn't really crunch forward that much. Pivots a little bit in rotation. You got your joints at the hips that go forward. They go back a little bit. Spread pretty good. Swivel cut at the thigh. Single hinge at the knee that goes about 90. And then hinges at the ankles that go up okay amount, down a lot, and rockers for pivot. So overall, pretty good articulation, although, like I said, a bit of weirdness. I don't know why she only has swivels at the wrists, and the torso joint could be a bit better as well, honestly. I don't know why they give them this style of joint and then don't give them much crunch. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But it's pretty good. You still get most poses that you want to get out of this figure. Now, in terms of accessories, she does come with a fair amount of stuff. I would say it's more than your average standard release TVC figure, but I still don't think it's worth like the full deluxe price point. But I guess first, she does have her pistols here. These do actually have some paint on them, which is nice. They look pretty good. I have to assume they're reuse of the all the other Mandalorian pistols we've seen lately, but these ones almost look like they got a bit of a longer handle than the other ones that I have from other figures like Bo-Katan and whatnot, so they might be new sculpts, but I don't know for sure. It's hard to tell. But she does have trigger fingers, although she doesn't really need them for these blasters. They don't have trigger guards, but she holds them good. Looks pretty good. And then she does have functioning holsters. You can slot the pistols there on the holsters. They hold nice and securely. Not going to fall out or anything, so that is good. Of course, she does come with her lightsaber, or Ezra's lightsaber, or hers, I guess, whatever. Silver and black paint, that looks nice, but on my copy, it looks like a good chunk of silver paint actually got scuffed up at the end of the emitter, so there's actually some unpainted bits where it should be silver. That's a little annoying. That's probably just a QC issue. I doubt it's on every copy, but it's something to look for potentially. So that's a little annoying. I don't love that, but she does hold the lightsaber well. Looks good in her hand. So that's nice. She also does come with a unlit lightsaber hilt with a peg. And there's a hole on the front of the belt there. You can peg in the lightsaber hilt and it secures in there, no problem. That looks good. She also comes with the little spray paint gun that she has in Star Wars Rebels. I don't recall her using this in the show. I don't think she did. It's just a nice little extra accessory and throwback to her Rebels, the Rebels show that they included this. It is nice though, no paint, just gray plastic, but it is sculpted well. She can't hold it, although it's worth noting the grip on it is a lot wider than her other accessories, so it's going to stretch her hand out, so just be kind of careful of that. Not really anywhere you can store it on her. You could maybe slide it through one of these straps maybe if you wanted to, but that's still cool it's included. She also comes with a satchel. I do remember having this in the show. It's sculpted nicely, but there's absolutely no paint on this. None of the buckles or anything are painted on it. It looks kind of cheap, I'll be honest. Even just a little bit of silver for these buckles and there's this emblem here would have went a long way. I mean, it's a deluxe and it's not a larger character. I kind of expected it to be more premium paint apps, so I don't know. It does go on her, fits on her nicely enough, but yeah, I don't know. Needed some paint. She also comes with a helmet, and from a sculpt and paint perspective, looks really nice. Looks accurate to the show. Has a moving rangefinder, which is cool. The problem is it is humongous. I don't know how they messed this up, but you know, you put it on her head, but it is huge, man. Like compared to the rest of her body, it is gigantic. It looks like a kid cosplaying, like for Halloween or something. It is really big. I was hoping maybe in person it wouldn't be so bad, but man, I don't know. It's a shame too because it look aside from the size, it looks good, but the size is so off. And I know a lot of people were saying They should have made it just an interchangeable head sculpt. Yeah, that would have been good. That would have made fixed the problem for sure. But Hasbro has shown they have been able to do removable helmets, and from a personal standpoint, I actually prefer removable helmets as opposed to interchangeable helmet sculpts. I just like them being like more realistic accessories that they actually put on and stuff like that. I just prefer, it's just how I prefer it. I'm not saying that's objectively better because it's probably not, but it's how I prefer them. But there's figures out there that prove they can do Mandalorian helmets that are removable that work well. The most recent one being Pre-Vizsla. His helmet is like a perfect size. It's removable. It's not an interchangeable head sculpt, and it fits him perfectly. It looks really good. It looks proportionally pretty much perfect. It looks great. And I know that Pre-Vizsla doesn't have any hair. He's bald, so it's probably a little easier to get the size right. But Sabine doesn't have huge hair. She has a short hairstyle. It shouldn't have been that hard, but I don't know. They just made it huge. It doesn't look that good. Yeah, it is what it is, I guess. Pretty big fumble on that part. And then finally, her last accessory, probably my favorite. She does come with the Lothcat, which is a nice little world building piece. I like getting accessories, little animals, stuff like that. It's painted pretty good actually with the eyes there, the stripes or spots and whatnot, the fade of yellow and the white with the colored in feet. And there is a little bit of articulation. You can actually rotate and pose around the head a bit. There's a dumbbell joint in there. So that's kind of cool. And it stands nicely, looks cool with her. But yeah, that's not much else to say. We do some comparisons real quick and then give the guys final thoughts. There's not actually a whole lot to compare with because there's not a whole lot of the Ahsoka and Rebels cast in TVC as of yet. But here she is with Bo-Katan. She's actually, I didn't realize, she's actually taller than Bo-Katan. I am not sure if that's accurate or not. But yeah, you can see the difference in the helmets. Bo-Katan had the interchangeable head sculpt helmet. This is the removable helmet, and you can see like the Bo-Katan helmet could probably fit inside the Sabine helmet. That's how friggin' big this helmet is, man. It is crazy. But yeah, there's that. Here she is with Ahsoka. This is the Mando release, but I think the Ahsoka release is like pretty much exactly the same. They look pretty good together. Oh, it's a little dusty. I haven't touched that figure in a long time, actually. And then lastly, here she is with the Black Series release. And I think they're both pretty good. Take a look at the head sculpts. I'm honestly not sure which one I prefer. They're both pretty good. I want to say the Black Series one might be a little more accurate in likeness, but I might prefer just the look of the TVC. I don't know. It's tough. They're both pretty good, but you can see pretty similar in design and whatnot. Both of them had helmet issues. There are copies, not all copies, but there are copies of Sabine that have, in the Black Series, that have deformed sculpted helmet sculpts. Unfortunately, mine is one that got a deformed helmet sculpt that you can't really fix with heat. So it's too short and doesn't really fit her head well, and basically too small, whereas the TVC one is too big. So I don't know how they keep messing up Sabine's helmets. It's kind of unfortunate. But yeah. Overall, I still think it's a good figure, but it's got some issues. I won't lie. It's not a perfect figure, and I definitely do not recommend it at full price. It seems to go on sale fairly often. I definitely, if you haven't picked it up already, do not pick it up unless you can get it on sale. It is not worth the full deluxe price points. There is, yeah, at least 30% off, but if you can get 50% off or even better, that's what I'd be waiting for. I got mine 50% off, and it was definitely worth it for that price of a standard figure. And, you know, it would have been worth maybe to me if it retailed just $5 more than a standard figure for the extra Lothcat and the little like spray gun and whatever, then that would have been perfectly fine. But to go like $15+, and I just don't see the value at all, especially compared to other deluxe figures. Like you compare this to like Black Chrysanthemum or even Paz Vizsla, like which I honestly is also questionable in price points. I just feel like those ones are still more worth the money than this one was. Yeah, don't really know what they were thinking with making this a deluxe. But luckily, a lot of people also are of the same mind because it's going on sale a lot. Shouldn't be too big of a deal to get it on sale. And in terms of this one, Black Series, honestly, especially if you can get the Black Series one with the normal helmet, I definitely think the Black Series is more worth the money. Bigger figure, you're definitely getting more plastic, and I think it's better value for money. Anyways, that's pretty much all I have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I'll see you all in the next video. May the Force be with you.